Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Dying Light on the GeForce GTX 1050 2GB. For performance monitoring I'll be using CAM. If you want to download the software, there's a link down in the description. So Dying Light, I'll be doing 1080p, 900p and 1440p. To skip to those sections of the video, check the description below. So first of all, I'll show you the G4560 on 1080p, trying to get 60 frames per second. Not really difficult to do on this game, it's quite old right now, but it still looks very good, I have to say. Then I do the same, but I switch to the i3-8100, so the same settings on 1080p. Then I briefly show you what happens if you crank up some settings that I think that they should be off by default. Then I switch to 900p and I show you one configuration because it's very easy to hit 60 frames per second at that resolution. And finally at 1440p I show you two configurations. First, I try to be at 60 frames per second, so I did some tweaking here and there, trying to maintain that target frame rate. And then I just crank up the settings, trying to stay over 30 frames per second as much as possible, and that'll be pretty much it. And on the options menu, this game was kinda weird because they changed the options menu's options very much. I mean, the view distance slider was changed like 3 or 4 times. Then the shadow map size used to have very low, medium, high and very high, I think. Now it just has low, medium and high. Not sure what's up with that. The developers were playing with the options menu quite a bit between updates. So what I recommend just keeping disabled all the time are NVidia PCSS, which are the contact hardening shadows from NVIDIA. Those are on some games like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, on GTA 5. That is a big performance hit, at least for me. And I don't notice a huge difference because I'm just trying to run around, climb, survive in the game environment. So I don't really pay that much attention to it. That's why I keep it off. It's a performance hit, but I don't really notice it while in motion. Then NVIDIA depth of field is just a more refined depth of field, I guess. Usually when a zombie just spits acid at you, one of those types of zombies, you get a depth of field effect all over the screen because you cannot really see much. Well, that will be like a 20 FPS hit in some occasions. The frame rate will be very variable. You might be at 60 frames per second. A zombie just throws acid at your character and you get from 60 to 40 in just half a second. I don't really think it's worth it. And finally, the view distance slider, I recommend keeping it at 50% or lower. Over 50%, I don't notice a huge difference while playing the game, and it's usually a very decent performance uplift if you just lower the view distance option. But again, the view distance option was changed like 4 times, I think. So from 50% to 30%, there's not a huge difference in performance, but if you keep it maxed out, I don't really think it's worth the performance hit. And while the other options that you should consider to get better performance are anti-aliasing, that can usually give you a decent performance uplift, not a huge performance difference, but it's noticeable. Then NVIDIA HPAO Plus can also be a decent performance uplift if you just turn it off. And if you turn off ambient occlusion, there's no ambient occlusion at all, which means that the performance uplift will be quite big. And then the shadow map size also affects performance, but it's not as big of a hit compared to the previous patches. Before, if you went from very high shadows to high, you get like 20 FPS more. Here the difference wasn't as big. But still, I recommend lowering that to medium, because below medium usually the shadow resolution isn't that great, and the foliage quality affects the frame rate when you're in places with a lot of foliage, obviously. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video, thanks for watching and see you next time.
Get him struck.
Put some hurt on him.